This panel you participated in, would you tell us a little about it, please?
Well, it was a panel talking about progressive support for Israel and why and how to make the progressive case for support of Israel. And unfortunately, there is a small group within the progressive side of the political spectrum that is not pro-Israel, and we have to fight that. And we were talking about the case you make for progressive support of Israel, namely that Israel is the one progressive country in the Middle East that recognizes civil rights and women's rights and LGBT rights and minority rights in the Middle East. And second, and therefore progressives should support the only democracy that represents progressive values in the Middle East. But secondly, that any progressive has to support self-determination for the Jewish people as well as the Palestinian people, and that means you have to support Israel.
Is there a pressure, a social or peer pressure, you feel, among progressives not to break with the notion of Israel as oppressor and Palestinians as persecuted?
No. There are some people who take that view, and they have to be fought and they have to be marginalized, but there's not peer pressure in that sense.
Social pressure?
No, there's not social pressure. I mean, the farther left you go, if you go to the far left, you start getting that. And our job is to make sure that it stays on the far left.
There was kind of a machlokas on the Upper West Side recently with rabbis who were speaking out against Mayor Bill de Blasio's outreach to AIPAC.
Well, it wasn't his outreach to AIPAC. I disagreed with him, obviously, but it wasn't his outreach to AIPAC. They objected, and not just them, there were other people who signed that letter, unfortunately, but they objected to his saying that he would be at the disposal of AIPAC, period. Or something like that. I don't remember the exact language, but that his door would always be open to them, or something like that. And they took the position that AIPAC didn't speak for them, and that there were more liberal or pro-Israel groups, and that the mayor, as a progressive pro-Israel person, shouldn't think or project that AIPAC spoke for all people. I mean, that was their point of view.
In Iran,
it's not my point, obviously. It's not my point, obviously.
In Iran, Saudi Arabia, and among the Islamist sect of Islam, the political extremist, there's tremendous oppression of minorities' rights.
Of course.
Dissidents, political dissidents, social dissidents, Christians, Jews, for instance. Why is there so much hesitance on the part of progressives to criticize Islamism as illiberal?
I don't agree with your premise. I don't think there is a great hesitance on the part of progressives to criticize repression by Islamists or by Muslims or by anybody else. Some people have been very outspoken against that.
Do you feel that there's any pressure to criticize Islam as a faith or any of its tenets?
No, I think that there's always pressure in the United States to try not to appear as if you're criticizing somebody's religion. But when a religion, or more to the point, when a group of people professing a religion discriminates against somebody who does terrible things, you ought to criticize that.
And how about anti-Semitism within Islamism? You suppose progressives will criticize that?
Absolutely. You're not progressive if you don't.